The werewolf, an ancient legend associated with the wolf, the eerie creature that has long instilled fear in the hearts of humans with its haunting howls. Myths and superstitions have intertwined this animal with the world of ghosts and spirits, perhaps due to its agility in movement and its sudden appearances and disappearances, making it a significant element in attributing such qualities to it. In this video, we will delve into the subject of werewolves in detail, and we will mention some of the most famous incidents documented by historians, always relying on facts, documents, scientific and logical analysis, away from the cheap sensationalism built on myths and superstitions. Before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos. We aim to reach 1,000 subscribers to continue the channel. Are they people afflicted with certain diseases turned into werewolves? The man-wolf or werewolf is a human who possesses the ability to transform fully into a wolf, acquiring all the characteristics of the savage animal while retaining some of their human traits, such as speech, for example. This transformation usually occurs at night, especially when the moon is full, and it lasts until sunrise when the werewolf returns to their human form. In folklore, this transformation is often associated with bloodshed and the consumption of humans, particularly children and women. The character of the werewolf may be one of the oldest myths woven around the relationship between humans and animals. It is mentioned in the writings of the Greeks and Romans and gained greater belief in the Middle Ages, when Europe was steeped in superstition and darkness. During that time, stories of magic, jinn, vampires, and werewolves spread and became an integral part of European folklore. Later, these stories and novels captivated readers and provided inspiration for cinema, leading to one of the most famous horror figures, often accompanying the most renowned horror character, the vampire. These tales made many people wonder about the truth, origin, and source of this myth, especially since it was linked to the wolf, a strange creature that has long struck fear into the hearts of humans with its haunting nighttime howls. Myths and superstitions associated it with the world of ghosts and spirits, and its agility in movement, sudden appearances, and disappearances possibly played a significant role in attributing these qualities to it. One surprising aspect we encountered during our research on this topic is that some claim there are rare diseases that can turn humans into werewolves or vampires, drawing on certain medical theories. We will address these theories later. However, it is important to note that there is no disease in the world that can transform a patient into a wolf that roams the forests in pursuit of human flesh or compels someone to feed on blood. Does such a disease exist that makes a person content with drinking human blood? Do they need a disease for that? Let them come to our countries and witness how some openly and shamelessly suck our blood day and night without any restraint or shame. It is worth mentioning that most cultures and civilizations worldwide have known similar myths related to physical transformations from one shape to another. In Arab folklore, there are many figures similar to the European werewolf, with one of the most famous being the myth of Al-Sa'ala, or Al-Salwa, as it is called in colloquial dialects. The Arabs were familiar with this myth during the pre-Islamic era and after Islam, and they portrayed it as a creature with a terrifying appearance that could transform into a beautiful woman. It would seduce travelers, take advantage of the opportunity to kill and eat them, and there are numerous accounts of this creature in the writings of Arab historians. Similarly, Native Americans had the legend of the man-wolf, which was popular in the folklore of the tribes, particularly in North America. Werewolf characteristics. People used to believe that werewolves had specific characteristics that could help identify them. Some of these features included knotted eyebrows over the nose, sharp, claw-like nails, and an unusual gait characterized by spaced and rapid strides. Other signs included red hair, hair on the palms, and a strong desire when seeing raw meat. One famous method for detecting a werewolf, or someone accused of being one, was to make a deep wound in the suspect's body and look beneath the skin. If fur or black hair appeared, they were certain that the person was a real werewolf. There were specific suspicions regarding people born on December 25 and those who were the 7th in the birth order in their families. As for the distinctive signs for recognizing a man-wolf when they take on their animal form, there is no tail, and their vocalizations are closer to human sounds rather than typical wolf howls. Their eyes are more human-like than wolf-like. When they return to their human form, they experience extreme fatigue and exhaustion. Regarding the werewolf's diet, they were believed to hunt and consume wild animals as well as human flesh, particularly the flesh of young children and women, and sometimes the flesh of corpses buried in graves. There is a belief that a werewolf's body must be burned and not buried, because burial would transform them into vampires. How does one become a werewolf? There are several ways to transform into a werewolf. Perhaps the most well-known is the idea of being bitten by another werewolf, which has become widespread through modern novels and films that have depicted the man-wolf character. In reality, this concept was not part of the ancient werewolf myth, but was added in the past century. Other methods mentioned in folklore include a person wishing to transform must first strip naked and bind a wide leather belt made from wolf fur around their body. Another method involves drinking water collected in small holes where wolf tracks are found, or drinking from a water source commonly used by wolves. Some old sources have mentioned that a person sleeping outdoors on a summer night with a full moon and exposing their face to its light for an extended period can turn them into a werewolf. There are also magical recipes found in some spellbooks for turning a person into a werewolf, relying on herbs and specific magical rituals. However, the general idea is that the person must possess a natural inclination to transform into a werewolf, which depends on certain characteristics. One of the most famous is being born on December 25th or being the 7th child among their siblings. According to prevalent beliefs at the time, girls would transform into witches and boys into werewolves. Additionally, children born under a new moon or those afflicted with epilepsy were believed to be more likely to become werewolves when they reached adulthood. From a religious perspective, werewolves were often seen as individuals who had incurred divine curses due to grave sins committed during their lives. They were considered the handiwork of the devil and his means of spreading fear and terror in the hearts of humans. Reality or fantasy? There are many aspects in this world that have been regarded as mere myths and superstitions, devoid of any basis in truth. However, modern science has begun to seriously consider studying them, not to prove their accuracy, but to uncover their true origins and the factors that contributed to their spread and solidification in human belief. The prevailing conclusion among researchers and scientists today is that these terrifying mythical characters reflect a horrifying reality that humans lived through without finding a logical explanation or being able to verify how these phenomena occurred. For instance, in cases of serial killings, incidents of cannibalism and desecration of graves and corpses that had been tampered with and dismembered, sometimes left by the roadside, people in the Middle Ages had no rational explanations for these events. During those times characterized by backwardness and ignorance, individuals were often superstitious, and everything around them was viewed with suspicion due to the harsh, war-ridden, bloody, and plunder-filled life they experienced. For example, people of that era often regarded illnesses as forms of diabolical possession and interpreted the calamities that befell them, such as plagues and famines, as divine punishments. With this mindset, when dealing with a mentally ill person, for instance, one who transformed into a serial killer committing heinous murders and displaying sadistic tendencies and fetishes, the only way they could make sense of it was by ascribing the actions to a person who was not normal but possessed malevolent supernatural powers. The disappearance of several individuals from one village and the discovery of their bodies later, having been mutilated, would be immediately associated with vampires, werewolves, ghouls, jinn, ghosts, and more. It's important to remember that we are talking about times when there were no police investigators, forensic laboratories, advanced security agencies, or trained law enforcement personnel. At best, there might have been one representative of the state who was often illiterate, ignorant, and as superstitious as the rest, focused on tax collection and serving the feudal lords or the monarch. In that harsh and dark world, most of the terrifying myths we discuss today emerged and were closely associated with the night. At that time, there were no electric lights like we have today, no entertainment devices like computers and television. The nights were long and dark, and that's why most of these frightening characters are connected with the night, darkness, and nocturnal creatures like bats and wolves. One of the scientific interpretations of the werewolf legend is a medical perspective. Some doctors and experts in the history of diseases attribute the werewolf persona to medical conditions. Certain rare diseases, like porphyria, come with symptoms such as skin inflammation, increased hair growth in specific body areas, reddened teeth, extreme sensitivity to sunlight, and can even lead to severe psychological disturbances. Some researchers believe that historical accounts of werewolves were actually descriptions of individuals afflicted with such rare medical conditions. However, this theory has faced criticism, as it doesn't adequately explain the full transformation of a person into a complete wolf-like creature. Another group of researchers associate the origin of the werewolf myth with a medical condition called hypertrichosis, characterized by excessive and abnormal hair growth on the human body, affecting both sexes and leading to the development of a thick, animal-like hair layer on parts of the face and body. Nonetheless, the extreme rarity of this condition has led scholars to doubt its role as the source of the werewolf myth, which was prevalent in the Middle Ages. There have been other attempts by scientists to link various medical conditions to the legend of the werewolf, but these remain theories that cannot be definitively proven. Despite all the theories and research, many people still wonder, are there really werewolves? Are there vampires, ghouls, dragons? Believers in the supernatural and the mystical claim the existence of these creatures, while scientists, researchers, and intellectuals generally scoff at the mere mention of such names. Nevertheless, the world continually surprises us with events and stories that we may never have imagined and mysteries that science may struggle to explain. The human being at the end of the day remains a puzzle among puzzles. Werewolves and vampires may be terrifying, and they may commit gruesome acts that make the bravest hearts shudder with fear. But no matter how much they indulge in violence and bloodshed, they cannot match the extreme cruelty exhibited by some human beings in history. Throughout the ages, there have been battles and massacres where thousands were annihilated in a matter of days or even hours, displaying unprecedented brutality, something no werewolf or vampire could achieve. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment about the video, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any new videos. We aim to reach 1,000 subscribers to continue the channel.